if you aren't clear in your training, your dog will keep aggressing, ignoring you, or even becoming more and more afraid of you. So let's see how we can become more clear with our dogs. And in the end, we'll see what to train first in the example of leash reactivity. But first, we need to understand what we have to do to become crystal clear for our dogs. Let's start with our cues, our signals, or if you want to call it that, commands. I don't like that word because it does something with us. But whatever you want to call it, what you need to do is you need to know what these cues mean or what you want your dog to do whenever you give them. So for example, if you want your dog to look at you and you use the name, that's clear. But if you use the name for scolding your dog, recalling your dog, telling your dog to look at you, it becomes a very mixed message. And we want to be clear, right? We want our dogs to respond immediately with the right thing. And for that, we need to be precise. So use your name for an attention cue, or better yet, train an attention cue separately and train a recall and use them whenever you need your dog to do one or the other. Then you need to decide what you want your dog to continue doing or learn. So what you want to allow or not. Like if you allow your dog on the sofa, that's fine. But that means that your dog is allowed on the sofa and not your dog is allowed on the sofa except if he's dirty, right? So yes means yes. And if you want to have some things removed from your dog's behavior, so for example, your dog is lunging, barking, growling at other dogs, you need to address it and teach your dog something else and not one day ignore it, one day scold your dog, the third day you train an alternative. That's not clear. So assess if these things are bothering you. If it's just something you would train because everybody else tells you to, forget it, because you will not stick to it. Does it bother you? Then yes, you should train it, but then be consistent and be clear to your dog that you want that to change, right? And then of course you need to tell your dog what you have decided, right? You need to tell your dog what you want. It's always easier to do something than to stop doing something or not do something. Our brains do not understand. No, it's the same thing for our dogs. We have to do something. And if we're just standing and watching a video or sitting and watching a video and breathing, that's doing something. Not doing something or not doing anything would mean you're dead. It's the same thing for our dogs. So if you want your dog to stop barking at other dogs, teach your dog to walk away instead. Or teach your dog to look at you and touch your hand with his nose or whatever. So teach your dog what you want to see. That's a lot clearer than teaching your dog to stop something, right? And as for leash reactivity, you need a clear strategy. So you need to teach your dog what to do whenever another dog or a person shows up on the horizon, right? And it has to be the same. Yes, it can vary when you're already very practiced in that one strategy, but in the beginning you need to have one really set and your dog really, really well practiced in that one strategy. And if you want to see an example on what you can train, how you can train it, and what the whole deal with leash reactivity is, watch this.